contracting officer was asked out on a date. His response? It depends. Welcome to Acquisition Pro Tips, where we seek to demystify and break down the essentials of government contracting, so you can navigate the process with confidence. I'm Josh, a warranted government contracting officer, and today we're diving into justification and approval letters, better known as J&As. Here's what we'll cover: why J&As even exist, what a J&A actually is, when you need one, and 10 acquisition pro tips to help you survive the process and get that signature. So if your boss has ever told you it has to be this brand, or we're only going with this company because they're the best, then you're in the right place. This video is all about making the J&A process more bearable, empowering you to complete it, and maybe even putting a smile on both your boss's and your contracting officer's face. This is breaking down the J&A in plain English. Let's get started. I can recall when I was a young contracting specialist, just entering the world of government contracting, without a single protest under my belt yet, thinking I'd most likely be walking around with a hard hat in a business suit, briefcase in one hand, and a BlackBerry in the other. Little did I know that those preconceived notions would come crashing down with one single document. My first real task on the job, writing a justification and approval letter for a sole source requirement. I remember thinking at the time, man, am I hungry? Mostly because it was lunchtime.
You can't skip lunch. You just can't, guys.
But also thinking, what on God's green earth is this thing sitting on my desk? And what exactly am I supposed to be justifying anyways? The requirement was to purchase software upgrades for an existing system on the military installation. At the time, I had no clue how software maintenance worked, what information I needed to support this document, or even what the word proprietary meant.
You serious?
I felt like Marty McFly from Back to the Future.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
That's when I realized I had better learn about software quickly, what makes it proprietary, and how to write this J&A well enough that when I submitted it to my CO, it didn't come back covered in red ink. I had to get down to the basics. To put it simply, a J&A comes into play when you want something of a particular brand or directly from a specific company. Maybe you've used the item before and liked its performance, or maybe you're an Apple person and all of your tech has to sync together. So now you get to enjoy constant group chat notifications, not just on your phone, but on your watch too. The difference between your preferences and the government's requirements comes down to funding. With your own money, you can buy whatever you want, as long as it's legal, of course. But government money is taxpayer money. That funding has been allocated for your unit, sure, but it was generated by taxing the American people, which means we're required to spend it wisely and responsibly. That's why the default is competition. Back in 1984, Congress passed the Deficit Reduction Act, and tucked inside was the Competition and Contracting Act, or CICA. CICA requires to promote full and open competition to lower costs, cut spending, and give more small businesses a chance at federal contracts. So no, you can't just pick a company because you like them. There has to be a legitimate reason to restrict competition, a justification, if you will, and then an approval, which means your contracting officer is basically the judge, jury, and executioner of your favorite brand name purchase. Before you run to the CO, you need to build your case. Here's what you'll typically include: total dollar value. Start with your market research and IGCE. The value determines what rules apply. Think petty theft versus grand theft. The stakes are very different. Requirement details. This should mirror what's already in your market research report. Things like the purchase request number, description of supplies or services, and the agency need. Unique qualifications. Explain why only this particular contractor, product, or brand can fulfill the requirement. market research efforts. Document how you search for alternatives and why they don't meet the need. Think of yourself as a defense attorney. Your requirement is on trial, and without facts and logic, it's heading straight for the shredder. Now, let's talk about the legal backbone. The FAR provides a list of exceptions where full and open competition isn't required. That sounds pretty good, right? They include only one responsible source, pretty much classic sole source requirements. No one else can meet the need. Next, follow-on contracts, needed for continued development or production when switching vendors would cause duplication of cost or unacceptable delays. Can't have that now, can we? Unusual and compelling urgency. Emergencies where waiting for competition would cause serious harm, like hiring a crane to remove aircraft parts after a crash. Don't worry, the pilot survives in this scenario. Industrial mobilization or expert services, keeping critical capabilities running that only one company can maintain. International agreements. For example, NATO might require secure radios for interoperability. Authorized by statute. Includes Ability 1 and 8A programs. National security. Enough said. Public interest. For example, during natural disasters where competition would put lives at risk. Dry? Yeah. Important? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Knowing these makes you far more effective when building your case. Now that you know the why, what, and when, let's get practical. Here are my 10 pro tips. Number 1, vendor exclusivity letters are not enough. Always confirm with the manufacturer first. Anyone can make bold claims on a letterhead. Number 2, talk to SMEs. The end users know the technical details you don't. Get their input. Number 3, leverage directives. Technical orders, executive orders, or higher headquarter mandates can back your case. Number 4, reuse when possible. Old J&As can sometimes be recycled if still current. Roughly 1 year is a pretty good benchmark. Always check with your CO. They'll let you know. Number 5, coordinate approvals. Route through the right functional office. Comm Squadron for IT purchases, vehicle management for vehicles, and medical for medical supplies, and etc. Number 6, preferred vendor does not mean sole source. Just because you like a vendor doesn't mean they qualify. Number 7, do market research first. Don't cherry pick evidence to fit your conclusion. Document thoroughly. Number 8, build like a lawyer. The presumption is always competition. You need facts, logic, and evidence to prove otherwise. Weak J&As invite protests, which can stall your requirement for months. Number 9, check GSA global supply first. Don't reinvent the wheel if the item is already available through a mandatory source. And number 10, use industry tools. Post a sources sought on sam.gov and leverage GSA's market research as a service. Let them help you find potential vendors and supply you with a ready-made research summary. So there you have it. Why J&As exist? To protect taxpayer dollars. What they are? A written defense for limiting competition. And when they're needed, when only one source or brand makes sense. At the end of the day, a J&A isn't about saying, this is what I want. It's about proving this is the only thing that works. Do that well, and your contracting officer will thank you. If you got something out of today's video and you enjoy the content, please help the channel out by subscribing, liking this video, and hitting the notification bell so you never miss another acquisition pro tip.